Hello, listeners. Before we get into today's episode, a quick word from one of our sponsors, Audible. Audible.com is the place to go if you are looking for audiobooks, guys. I don't even read books anymore. All I do is listen to Audible on the train, while I'm training, while I'm editing podcasts. I'm listening to audiobooks. It's the easiest way for me to get information in today's fast-paced world, and it can be for you too. Now, if you haven't used Audible before, you can head to www.audibletrial.com/FitProPodcast. You will get a 30-day free trial. There's over 200,000 books to choose from, so there's every genre, whether it be fact, fiction, biographies, anything. It's all there. There's a book for you to listen to today. And the good thing is, if you don't like it after 30 days, you don't have to pay a cent until the 30 days are up. And then after then, it's only about, I think it's $20 a month, and you get a free audiobook every single month. So that's the bargain of the century. And if you want to check that out, make sure you head to audibletrial.com/FitProPodcast. Episode 70 of the Fit Pro Podcast. Welcome back to the Fit Pro Podcast. I'm your host, Marvin Fayez, and today we got a special guest, Oli Reynolds. He's a fitness professional / gym owner turning internet marketer. Oliver, take a second, let the listeners know who you are personally, and then we'll get into it.
How you doing? Great to be on the show. My name is Oli Reynolds. I own 2 gyms in England, in Birmingham to be specific. And I basically started turning it into an internet marketer due to the passion that the fitness industry has given me. Now I'm doing more internet marketing and helping fitness professionals get more leads and get more clients, but also doing some online products for the fitness industry as well.
Oh, perfect, man. So before you jumped into this world, what were you doing? Because I'd like the listeners to know that you were somewhere else before you were who you are now. So what were you doing prior to being a 2 gym owner?
I was in the fitness industry. I've been in the fitness industry since I was 16. It was the very wrongly, I basically walked into a gym, and said to them without qualification, I said, look, I have a qualification, even though you had to be 18, I believe. I think it might change now, but I told them I had a qualification. The general manager trusted me, and I got my first gym job at 16. So I've been doing it ever since. There's been 1 or 2 times where I've left the fitness industry to go and earn better money in a call center. That was a great experience, learning how to sell, learning about products, and basically just learning the structure of call centers, which is, I think, very important for the fitness industry, selling. So I did a bit of that. I only did that for about 3 months, but I did that to fund a fitness qualification. And then I went straight back into the industry again. So I worked in some of the bigger corporate gyms, DW, which was JJB Fitness at the time, Ballantyne's, Fitness First, and then some smaller independents, which was really, really interesting, because you got to see how a smaller independent gym worked as well.
Okay, perfect, man. And so now you run 2 6-figure gyms. Tell me about how that came about.
One of my first ever mentors, I was owning a very small boutique gym. It was probably like 1,000 square foot. The room was tiny. It had 2 gyms. It had 2 treadmills. It had 2 cross trainers. It had a lat pull down, a Smith machine, a leg extension, leg curl, and a chest press. That was it. That's all it had. And I was charging 10 quid a month. And how I got into this position was, it was a local high school. And I said to them, look, your gym's dead. You've got brand new equipment. It's really, really nice. Let me pay you £500 a month. And I will build up the membership, and I'll take the money. And they said, cool, that's fine. And I did this, and it worked really well. And we got it to around about £2,000 a month. And I was really chuffed. I was like, yeah, I'm making good money. And after tax, I'm really, really happy and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought, this is too easy. I need to go and to the next level and build a bigger business with systems and staff, because I was doing everything. And I learned how to sell from a guy called Bedros Keuilian, and he's a wonderful guy. And he basically became my first mentor. So I opened one of my gyms with the help of him. And he basically taught me most of what I know in lead generation, in marketing, in selling. And that's basically how the first one grew. The second one grew 4 years later, which that's been running 1 year now. And that's already hit six figures under the year. So I'm really chuffed with that.
Oh, perfect. So obviously you know what you're doing. And how long have you been doing this for now? Because I want to stress to people on how long it actually takes. Because we can talk about it, and we got 2 gyms, but how long did it take for you to develop that first gym, and then now the second gym, and how many years in total have you been working on your businesses?
So in the businesses of the side of the indoor boot camps that we've got, the 2 gyms, that's been 5 years. But I'd say that the work that I was doing before that with owning that small boutique gym, that was where a lot of the mistakes were made. I mean, mistakes are still made even today, but a lot of the mistakes were made, a lot of learning lessons, how to be with clients, how to not set up billing systems, and how not to do marketing, how to do marketing. That was really in the first year of running that smaller boutique gym. So I've been in the industry since I was 16, I'm 28, so 12 years. It's all been lessons, and it's taken that long to get to where I am today. So it's the whole process of the first minute I walked into that gym at the age of 16, that was where it all started. Because every general manager I've worked with, to every member of staff I've worked with, to every mentor I've had, all of these things have built up my knowledge to be able to have these 2 successful gyms that's helped thousands of people.
It's an accumulation. So you basically learn from everybody that you interact with. It's just learning experiences, guys. People go through life and don't realize that you can learn something from everybody you come into contact with. And especially in the fitness industry. I think in the fitness industry, we're all too defensive sometimes. Yep. Where we feel like we'll learn on our own, and nobody's better than us, and blah blah blah. But really, it takes the humble person that knows, hey, I have to learn from everybody that I come into contact with, from my clients and from my mentors. You just got to be open. You just got to have an open mind. A mind's like a parachute. If it's not open, it doesn't work. So yeah, you've obviously done the right thing there, and now you are moving into running a digital marketing agency. Why?
Weirdly enough, it was actually an accident. It didn't actually mean to happen. So, in short, I was over in California. I was doing a talk at a world conference, a fitness world conference, and I basically got on stage, and there was I think it was about 250 people in the room, and most of them were my friends. I was part of a mastermind, so I'd say 50% people I knew, 50% I didn't. And I delivered this talk on how to build an email list. And I have an email list of 9,000 people that I've built up over the last 5 years, just in the local area. And basically that's what they wanted me to talk about. And I talked about it. And all this stuff that I was talking about, I genuinely thought this is what people knew. And people do every single day, even the people in my mastermind. And people were amazed by it. And I thought this was all with the power of a little bit of Instagram at the time, but mainly Facebook advertising. And I had a couple of people come to me after, mainly California-based gyms, and they said, "Look, I don't want to learn this stuff because it's a lot to learn. Can you take over?" And I was like, "Sure." And I said, "Look, because I've only done my own. I don't know if the stuff that I do works in a different country or in a different town or whatever it might be. Let's do this for free for a little bit." So we did it for free for the first couple of weeks. And it started working really well. So basically what I was doing in Birmingham was working really well in California. Then it started working in Dublin. Then it started working in Canada. And then basically we started having clients just by word of mouth. We didn't really do any marketing for that to start with. And it just built up from there. So it's been like the first year was all kind of testing and tweaking and just building the clientele and getting a lot of testimonials for it. But now we're kind of going full force this year with the digital marketing agency.
Oh, beautiful. And is it just you by yourself at the moment? Do you have staff?
I did have a member of staff, but we looked at the training that I wanted to provide. I'm really pro staff. I love a staff model. I think it is so important to have staff, because you haven't got a business if you do not have staff. I think one of the biggest things that most people are worried about their finances when it comes to bringing in staff. They're worried about in England it's called PAYE and all these different types of things, and all these, like, HR is a big scary thing. But staff for me is so important. We did bring on a member of staff, and he was actually a childhood friend of mine. He's my brother's best mate, and he's an absolute genius on computers. And I didn't want to bring in another fitness professional. I didn't want to bring in anybody else but this guy. So I said to him, look, come with me, work with me for 6 months. Let's see how you get on, and then we'll go from there. And we went through a period. He did really, really well. He's a really, really great guy. And another, I won't mention their name, but another fitness company in the digital marketing space approached me, and they said, look, we know that you're doing really well. We want to talk about a potential offer that we can buy your clients. And at the time, I wasn't really interested in selling the company, selling my training, my staff, or any of the clients. But they made a good offer, and we let go a certain sector of that business. And that employee, Rob, he went off with those. And the reason why I did it was because the company is based in California, so that gave him a great opportunity, once in a lifetime. Like I said, I've known him since I was a kid. He's a very clever guy, so working for a company in California is a dream come true for him. So I see him still regularly now. He works from home; he doesn't work in California, but the connections that he'll make with that is going to be brilliant. So it's back to just being me with that business. And I'm enjoying it. I love it. And I think you always need to be in a business. You need to still be doing the work for the first year to 2 years before you ever bring in staff, which is important, because you get to see you get to put out all the spot fires, you get to see what's working, what's not, and you get to see how your systems are going to roll out when you do have staff. And we're probably going to employ two members of staff this year for that business.
Awesome, man. And I feel like when you do it yourself, you're not asking your staff to do anything else that you wouldn't have done already. So I feel like your staff members might respect you a little bit more, rather than just coming into a space and going, I'm just going to hire everybody that knows more than me and they can do it, right? So that's great. So we've got the 2 gyms cranking. We've got your online marketing agency this year. But I feel like people always see the positive side of things. They always see when people are winning. What's been your lowest point professionally? Because I'd like to find that out.
This is I've never really spoke about this, and there was legal reasons behind it. When it happened, we couldn't talk about it, but everything we can talk about now. It was basically about 2 years ago. I'll try and kind of. Most of it I've put in a box and just put in a corner and just kind of ignore it now. So dates might be a bit hazy, but it was about 2.5 years ago when it all started. And even though I'm pro staff, this is the thing that made me pro staff. This is the reason why I realized staff are so important, even though what happened. So I had a manager. We employed our first full-time manager, and he was actually a client of ours, and he was a really good guy. Really happy to have him on board. In the first few months, it was absolutely incredible. But as time went by, as it does happen with employees, you see that their performance goes down. You see that they're not as happy within the job. And me and my partner, we noticed that, and she had a word with him. I had a word with him, and we said, look, if you're not happy, we need to, look at a couple of things that we can do. Couple of long story short, unfortunately the trainer left. We come to a mutual agreement, and that was that really, and that was, as far as we were concerned, that happened. We basically woke up one morning to a barrage of Facebook comments, and unfortunately the trainer had posted a Facebook post, and he had a bunch of our clients on Facebook, and there was over 250 comments in one section, where you can reply. There was another 100 comments in there, so like 350 comments. And basically there was a lot of things that have been said, a lot of personal information that have been shared, and a lot of business things. And some things he was genuinely right, so I'm not going to take that away from him, but then there were some things that were completely made up. But then it was Chinese whispers from the clients that made it escalate even more. And you start hearing all sorts of things like the company's going bankrupt. I think that was the worst one for me because, you know, we worked so hard in that business and we were about to open a second gym. So it's financially impossible to open another club if you're going bankrupt.
Yeah.
So we were laughing at that, but obviously the fire had already spread. There was nothing really we could do. But then the months leading on to that, literally like 5, 6, 7 months, all we had constantly was, you know, hopefully I can swear, but it's like bitching or literally just bitching all the time. It's all we ever heard from, not from the member of staff, but it was just the fire that it caused, unfortunately. And it was an impossible job to put out because there was so many people involved now. And we didn't comment once. We didn't say anything once. As I said, this is the first time I've really talked about it openly, apart from people that on the legal team that dealt with it. And basically it was, I think the biggest thing that it impacted, my confidence in people. Like that's where it hurt me the most. I lost a lot of confidence in people. I'm a people person. I enjoy people. My partner more so. She's the most incredible person around people. She sees good in everyone. She sees good in everything, and it really took a chunk out of her. She was devastating. We've had many nights where, you know, we've not slept. We've just not been happy about running the business because of what happened. It was so bad. And I've not even gone into the details of the things that have gone because I don't think it's relevant, but it was some of the nastiest things that you could say about a human basically was said, and you know, it hurt a lot, and it still does to this day. And the only way that really I thought, you know, as I said, we were about to open a gym in a certain area, a place called Kings Norton in Birmingham. And as we looked at it, some of the things started going against us, and we just thought, you know what, we're actually not going to open in that location. We're going to open on another side of town. So we went ahead and opened anyway. That was the best thing that we could have done because it kind of gave us confidence again that we are doing the right thing. We've changed a lot of lives. It's grew 5 times faster, but it's one of those things where that was the lowest point, and it still impacts me today. It impacts decisions today. But the pro out of it, I think, was that member of staff. I learned so much from that one member of staff of what to do, what not to do, how to treat a member of staff when they're not particularly happy, how to treat them when they are happy. Just all these little things, just that one lesson. Bring on a HR team, super important. Definitely do that. So I think it's one of those things where I'm even though it was without a doubt the worst moment in my career, and I will never forget it, I would never change it. I would always want that to happen because it's taught me so much, and now I value my staff so much. We take them out every single month. We buy them Christmas gifts, Christmas bonuses. We include them in a lot in our personal life as well. And you know, it has changed the approach that we have in business in general. The most important thing for me is my staff's happiness, not my clients, because my clients, we have a system for that. We know that once they fall into that model, they're going to be looked after. But the staff you have, you must look after. And one of my other mentors, a guy called Travis Jones, TJ, he taught me that he looks after his guys really well. And you know, he's actually over in Australia, isn't he? So you know, he taught me to look after staff because I was with him during that period of time.
Travis Jones is getting around. I need to get him on this podcast. Because he was very instrumental in the Facebook agency that I started years ago, because I went to Bali with him, and he was just like, dude, you need to do this. And I knew that he was wanting to set up a similar thing, but I don't think he could do it between his mastermind and other things. And I just think he's just a clever guy. I think people can learn
a lot from him. His model is big as well. So, even if you take, we take a small, my business model is 25% of his model. And we do 6 figures. So obviously he does an awful lot with his clubs, and he changes, more importantly, he changes a lot of people's lives. And the way that he treats his staff is incredible as well. I know, in fact, there's one of my clients, weirdly enough, one of my clients' friends is now working with TJ over in Australia. So, he's a great guy, and he's doing really well with his locations as well.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of people that work with him. They all only say good things about what he does. He's actually opening up a gym down the road from me as well. So he's rapidly expanding. I first learned about him maybe, say 3 years ago, when I was still a PT, and it was definitely an avenue that I thought about going down to be able to open up my own gym. But ultimately, this was more attractive to me. Like, I understand what I'm good at and what I'd have to work at in order to get where I want to get. And I think there's a very important distinction. And I was listening to Gary Vee talk about it today, where a lot of people, what they're doing right now, say the ones that are doing their 9 to 5, going to work and hate their jobs or whatever, but they earn 81K a year, can make 80K a year just doing something they're good at. Don't have to be great, don't have to be super passionate at, but I would take 80 over, like I would take the lesser amount for just something I'm good at. So how did you figure out that you were good at what you're doing now?
I think it was just the results that we give. So I knew I was good at the fitness industry and kind of having a team and building a business and marketing. And I watched, I can't remember what podcast it was. Top of my head, I can't remember. But it was, I listened to, this podcast, and he basically talked about how YouTube was originally a video dating website.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah. And basically what happened, these guys put so much money, the 2 guys of YouTube, or one guy, put so much time and energy into this dating site. But they found all that was happening. People would find the funniest videos. What would happen is the person would make a video saying, "Oh, hi, I'm Dave, and I like cats, and I go out on a Saturday night, blah, blah, blah," all that kind of stuff. But people would go on this site just to find the funniest videos and watch them and share them. And these guys were like, okay, this dating website is just not working, it's not doing well. But we noticed that this, people are sharing this funny video, so why don't we just create something where funny videos are made? So that's basically how YouTube came about. Now, I saw that and I said, okay, this fitness industry, I love, I adore, but there is some things that I just struggle with, and I don't enjoy to the max anymore. When I was 3-4 years ago, yes, but not anymore. So I said, what am I very good at in this business? Well, I'm good at automating things, and I'm good at marketing. So I can create one business for the fitness industry in an automated sector, which will be online programs. But then the marketing side of things, which is where obviously the digital marketing agency comes from, that's where I'm very good at that. We get clients great results. We make them a lot of money. We get them a lot of clients, and they're really happy with it. So that's kind of how I listened to that, and that really confirmed that 2017, that's where the digital marketing agency would really grow. And I could do it where I want as well. That was a big thing for me, to go and pretty much be where I want. I can be in Australia, I can be in England, I can be in America, I can be where I want and still run that business. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting.
Brilliant. So we've spoken about your lowest point. We've talked about why you do what you do and what you currently do, but what has been your highest point professionally so far?
I'd say it's almost the comeback that we had from the whole slander that we faced, and it was basically where literally within, I think it was around about a month to 6 weeks later, we opened up a second gym, and we employed another 2 members of staff. So it was a very this is an ego-based win for me. Like this should never be a win. It wouldn't be a win for me now, if it happened right now. But at the time, it was just like, yes, up yours. We're not going bankrupt. How could we spend the money on a new gym? How could we employ 2 members of staff? Like, I have a staff bill of $75,000 a year. And for me, it's like, if anybody ever says anything about being bankrupt or anything like that, I'm just like, just look at the staff bill. That is not even the running costs of the business itself. So you can't say those things without looking into it. And that's basically what that was. So that was a really big win. And we opened the club with 100 members again, and we did extremely well. And, you know, that business has done better in the first 3 years of the first gym, which for me is just a big boost. It just confirms that, you know, we are doing the right thing. But that club as well is a beautiful club. It's got great members. They're lovely people. It's such a tight-knit family. They all look after each other. My staff do a wonderful job there, and it's like it is the perfect revenge for what happened. And it spawned that, and so that's why I'm happy for what happened, because I don't think this newer gym wouldn't be where it is if that hadn't happened.
I mean, it reminds me of a quote. I can't really remember who said it, but a setback is a setup for a comeback. And that's exactly, you've basically lived it. You've done that. So that's great to see. And you're still obviously passionate about it. You haven't lost the passion for it, because sometimes when people get a setback, sometimes they think, oh, maybe I should go back to what I was doing before because I'm not really good at this. But ultimately, if you can push past a lot of the setbacks, you're right there. There's that picture of that guy digging a hole and the diamonds on the other side, and he just turns around. Like, I've seen that everywhere. But it's a very, very similar concept there. But okay, that's great. Great for a high point. Now, what are some of your industry insights? Let's start with the fitness industry first.
I think we're in the best position that we've ever been in the fitness industry. I think smaller independent clubs have got a better place to market. I think we've never had this opportunity before. I think that in that respect, I think a lot of fitness professionals don't realize how lucky they are. Like 5 years ago, Facebook advertising wasn't around as much as or as easy, accessible how to learn or have someone do it for you 5 years ago. I had to spend a lot of hours learning, a lot of mistakes doing that. Now everybody can teach you, or you can get someone to do it for you. So on the marketing side of things for the fitness industry, it's, you know, I think we're in a very good position. In terms of the fitness industry and what I think about it, I'm not particularly too happy with fitness professionals. I think, and this is could be a dangerous comment since, you know, I do serve fitness professionals as well. But I just think I think you said it earlier about the kind of the ego and the defensiveness. Like, we're all trying to achieve the same thing. It's like if World War III kicked off today and we had to stand side by side with these fitness professionals and fight the same battle, we would embrace each other and we would help each other and we would help each other. We, as the world, or your country, my country, we're fighting some of like this obesity problem that we've got, and yet you've got these fitness professionals bitching about each other, saying this doesn't work, that doesn't work. You know, this exercise doesn't work, that exercise program's crap, that celebrity fitness trainer doesn't know what they're talking about. I don't understand why people do that. If somebody's in a different area to you, then don't bitch or moan about them. They are not a competitor to you, so that they're not going to be a threat. Obviously, if they say something about you personally, you need to pursue that. But like, we're all on the same team. Like, we all have the same passion. Like, I don't get why people have this massive like butt of heads. Yes. I think a lot of trainers need to drop their ego, and I think if I'm out and about and somebody says, "What do you do?" I am not a gym owner, and I'm not a fitness professional. I'm not a personal trainer, because I do have a slight ego on me, but I think that's just because of, you know, doing what I've been doing, but it's not because I'm a personal trainer. I don't consider myself a personal trainer. I just don't get the ego side of the industry. I really don't.
And that is the end of episode 70, guys. If you enjoyed this podcast and you enjoyed listening to Oli Reynolds' insights on the industry, make sure you check out the show notes. There will be links to all of his social there. It's pretty much the same thing for everything, so make sure you check out below. If you have not already, make sure you rate, subscribe, and review the Fit Pro podcast on iTunes and on Android. There is a link in the show notes so that you can go and subscribe on any platform, not any platform, well, any platform. So you got Android and you got iTunes. There's 2 links there. Okay, let me make it simple for you. As well as if you're on the website, you can just click the review button, leave a quick review, let me know what you think of the show, what I could do better, and that's all I have to say. If you have not liked us on Facebook yet, make sure you head to facebook.com/FitProPod, so not podcast, FitProPod, and give us a big thumbs up. It goes a long way to showing your appreciation for the show. I've seen you serial downloaders. I've seen you guys, you listeners out there, I'm assuming you're new listeners, that go through and download 70 episodes. You're crazy, but I love you. Let's keep it going. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, and I'm out. Peace.